We are live. Alright, welcome back to the Wildlands campaign, folks. I won't lie, I'm pretty excited for this evening. You are, at this moment, leaving Stars and Signs, where you spoke with Aponiorn. You had quite a lot of information gleaned last session, so I hope you all took very careful notes. But, regardless, in the midst of town, in Arkney, there is a big party going on, a kind of a mid-February celebration of the holiday called Phyexe's Plenty. Phyexe is known as the hoarding god, and this is when people who have been hoarding supplies for the winter are meant to throw a big party and share it around with folks. And Lord Governor Emmond has risen to the occasion in grand style, as there is free food and ale flowing. People are lining up to dip their tankards in the barrels, and there is a stage that has been set up with some musical entertainment and some dancing. A blue-skinned dragonborn you have just spotted is doing a wild dance up on this simple wooden stage, shooting off a lightning breath weapon, into the air as part of the performance. It's quite impressive, and Krim is kind of takes a look, and since Krim is not here, I am going to say that one of the possible Krim reactions occurs, and she kind of pulls up her collar and huddles down into her scarf that she recently purchased, and kind of tries to hide her appearance and watches the dancer carefully, whom she does not recognize, but who must be another survivor of the drowning of Lagrana. Cordy also seems to be very far away for the moment, digesting something that Aponiorn, the professor of astrology, whispered to her just as you were leaving, or just as she was leaving last from Stars and Signs. She befriended the old gnome. Perhaps that is why. Or perhaps there's another reason he wanted to whisper to her. But, regardless, the party is rollicking. The two of them are kind of like huddling in with the group and not really, actively doing anything at the moment. And what do you guys want to do? It is around noonish. The party is in full swing. The governor and his family at the head of one of the tables near the mansion are kind of directing the festivities as people are heading into lunch. Most of the shops are still open. You guys are all packed up with all of your big, heavy backpacks retrieved. Cordy is joining us. Hey, Cordy.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, I was on the phone, but I am here now. I'm just trying to get roll 20.
That's okay. I was just doing the recap.
Sounds good.
So you guys are all wearing your big hefty packs with your rolled up bedrolls and your tents and all of your camping gear, as you intended to head out of Arkney this very day. Take it away, folks.
Well, we were going to go to the library to... I know we wanted to check on the letter, and it looks like we got it.
Indeed. Fluttering through the sky, a letter had arrived at the library of Ibu Gruger. A message sent from Belgrove, the town of 1,000 steeples. And it contained a letter that Mavra was able to retrieve. Unfortunately, Danielle, it looks like, was just called away.
Yes, Danielle and I may both be called away at various points because we are fostering 5 newborn kittens.
Yay,
We'll
kittens!
get a cameo.
Cute.
But I think we were good with... last week we were discussing just heading out. But if our resident Dragonborn wants to interact with this new arrival, then that would be totally great too. I don't think we're on a tight schedule at this point.
Well, we want to find out if Shadir, Akiri's brother, is safe, and that we want to find that out as soon as possible. But other than that, we're not on the tightest of schedules. Well, was there anything else that anybody needed at the library? Or, well, Krim's... Normally I would ask Krim if she wanted to talk to... See if Krim wanted to talk to the dancer.
I mean...
She is... since she's not here, I am ruling that one of the possible Krim responses... Krim either rushes forward into things... or she hesitates and pulls back and is afraid. And that's the response I'm ruling that she's having at the moment.
Fair enough.
So Krim is like shakes her head when Equitas mentions the dancer and just looks like scared and maybe goes back to pretending to being blind.
Okay. Well, does anybody else have anything else? Does anybody have anything else to do at the library or anywhere else in town before we head to Akiri's home?
Nope, I'm good to go.
You're pretty good. I don't think so.
You all are carrying a bunch of dried nuts. Well, not dried nuts. Roasted nuts. Dried fruits and meats. And other things, hardtack in your rations that Bref loaded up on the other day.
Right, thank you so much, Bref. How many rations did each of us get with that?
I think I plotted out from here to where we thought the thing is, and then back to Taurine.
I can hear those kittens.
Yeah, I can hear them.
So I think that would have been...
I think you said
1,
9.
2, 3,
Yeah, I think so
4,
too.
5.
Yeah, I think it was 4.5 days there and back.
Yep.
So
Yes, I think it was 9 each.
do we each need to add those to our inventory, or are we just going to say that we don't have to worry about rations on this trip and be done with it, or
We should add them just in case we wind up going elsewhere. Like, if
Okay.
we don't wind up coming straight back here, which is our current plan, then we'll need to know how many rations we have.
Yeah, okay. All right. Adding them now. All right, then I guess let's head to Akiri's home. We know what direction we're going, and I assume that once we got close enough, we would know Akiri. Well, let's just head in that direction. We'll worry about it when the closer we get there.
All right. So, can you phrase it in an active manner? What are you guys doing?
We're gonna go check on Akiri's home.
We are
That is
departing
not-
Arkney
Aha.
and heading. Do we want to head? Because we don't want to head back through those mountains. Do we want to head southeast to 1512?
That works for me.
We leave town to the southeast.
Okay. So, you leave town to the southeast. Walking out of downtown Arkney, the mile or so distance to the long wooden palisade that breaks up the landscape and walls off the town from the outside world, including farms both inside the walls and outside. You are finally, perhaps because of duress, perhaps because they're all at the party, left alone by the Archangard on your way out. Although there are a couple of them at the gates, which are thrown open, people are kind of streaming in from the outlying farms that surround Arkney. Everybody seems to be in a fairly good mood, despite the chill wind that blows in off of Deep Lurk Lake. You can see, as you march out of town, a big pile of charred orc bones.
Cool.
Does it seem to be the same pile that was burning when we came in?
It is, but it's twice as big.
Oh. Are the guards still out there?
They are indeed.
Okay.
Although it seems to be a thinner crew.
Okay. I'd like to stop one of the guards, just as we're walking by. If there's a guard nearby.
Sure. There's a watchtower a couple of miles out of town, where they have been burning the dead orcs.
Okay. And I just say so it looks like there was been a lot more orcs since a few days ago when we first came into town.
Yeah. Looks like whoever's still trying to kill Fitzywell is still out there.
Okay.
Well, we only solved a problem for us.
Yeah.
The Archangard kind of looks you up and down. The man that you have randomly grabbed, roll a d100, please.
Okay. $96.
The guard you have randomly grabbed happens to be someone that you charmed on your way in.
Oh, fuck.
That you made a very
Awesome.
high persuasion roll against when you guys were first entering Arkney. He kind of wears a hefty fur kind of throw cloak over his shoulders, half cloak, I think it's called, and kind of smiles under a wide mustache. And he says, I see you've upgraded your traveling wear. Nice cloak.
I kind of give the collar a little pop. Thank you.
Black and sleek.
Yep. Duncan. Sorry. Yeah, thank you for mentioning it.
And he says, we've had a few more orc incursions. There was one just the other day, or a few days ago, in fact. It was led again by one of them who was screaming about Fitzywell, and wanted to kill Merchant Fitzywell.
Hey,
Doesn't do
which
much good
direction-
to... Yeah, go ahead.
What direction did they come from?
He thinks for a second and says, the south.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome, little lady. Or, sorry, I didn't
You're
mean
right. No, you're
to be
right.
diminutive.
Well, I am small. So.
Well, have a good journey, you lot. I hope you come back to Arkney soon.
Yeah, thank you very much for the information. Thank you for keeping the town safe. And you have a great day.
Of course.
And then we'll just head to the southeast in that direction we're going.
If that is what you guys said. Alright. So, southeast takes you through more farmland. And it starts to change, the terrain starts to change a little bit, although you're still in kind of a plains, flat, slightly rolling countryside. There's a few old ruined walls here and there, and the people around here, farther from the protection of the town, as you progress, they get a little more and more wary, and you actually see fewer and fewer people outside, children running around, etc. Although it is possible they just came earlier to the celebration. The land, there are signs that every now and then there's an attack on one of these outlying farms. And as you are traveling, this isn't particularly dangerous or difficult, but you have gotten a bit of a late start. It was only early afternoon when you left, so you're not going to be able to make it as far as you normally would. But you can still get some distance. So, go ahead and make your case for how you are going to travel effectively.
What's the weather like?
Excellent question. Why don't you type hashtag the weather into chat and hit enter? It should pop up the option for you. It's sunny. Well, actually, but you know what I just remembered is I actually rolled the weather last time, and it was cloudy and windy.
Gotcha.
We can say that your roll is that the wind starts to blow the clouds out of the sky like so many fluffy ships, and it begins to clear up a bit as the day goes on. But how are you guys? What skills are you going to use?
Okay. So this one may be a bit of a stretch, but let's see if you'll allow it.
Alright.
Suppose a big, burly, beefy farmer comes rolling down the path, directing their cart. And I was like,
As happens
maybe
occasionally.
we could take a break, ride on the cart as they go along the road. And I challenged the farmer to an arm wrestling match. If he wins, I pay him a silver. If we win, then he takes us down the road as far as he's going. And I would use my athletic skill.
I love it, except there's only one problem, which is that most of the traffic is going to be heading toward Arkney. So it would normally be a pretty easy check, but might be a little bit harder because of that. But absolutely, I will allow that. Are you hoping for a strength based?
I was
Roll
thinking
with that.
athletics.
It's probably gonna have. It's gonna. All right. It's gonna be. It's gonna be. I'll let you add your proficiency bonus for athletics, but it's gonna be charisma-based roll.
Ah. Okay. So gosh. So what, I forget what my proficiency is now. I think it's okay. It's
Still
three.
+2.
Okay.
Oh, +3.
So that'd be 16.
Nice. That is a success. So you actually
Goodness
find.
for people who don't like festivals.
It seems somebody went early to the festival and did some business in town, and is now returning to their farm at the far edge of things, and gladly offers you guys a ride, seeing as you are armed, armored, and relatively friendly looking. And he trusts the burly barbarian that challenges him to an arm wrestling match.
Equitus is so friendly looking, I'm sure.
So that will well, that's up to you.
No, I'm not unfriendly. No.
Definitely doesn't look like he threatens to kill everybody we meet.
No.
I think with the cloak you look a little higher class, and so it's like, oh yeah, this is someone of means.
Exactly.
He doesn't want to kill you.
I probably am keeping the hood up as often as I can. Also,
Just like, he doesn't want to kill you, he's just snooty, we promise.
The friendly fellow you have met, red-faced from the sun, is nodding and agreeing with what you're saying. You are able to hitch a ride on his cart and or mule, and gain some ground thereby, and are not bothered for a few hours of the journey. Well done. And you don't have to pay him.
That was such a good idea. I'm so impressed with how good an idea that was. That was amazing.
Who's gonna jump up next?
okay, I don't have anything that's worth a crap on the road, unless I can lie or intimidate my way through this.
Well, there are certainly people around, and the occasional
Yeah.
Arkanguard patrol. So it's definitely possible, especially in this somewhat more settled area. Although the farms here are, more spread out and less clustered, there's still more people around than the absolute wilderness.
Right. Okay. Well, but we're already... Okay, so they've let us go, so I'm not gonna have to lie to get us out of anything. Anybody else?
Alright, I've got one. I am going to flirt with a good-looking Arkanguard to try and get him to tell us the best shortcuts through this area.
Ooh,
That's so smart.
that's good.
All right, I guess that is persuasion.
But
That's what I'm
Equid is
thinking.
probably not gonna like that.
Or intimidation, depending on your flirting style.
If your breath is intimidation.
I mean, if you're half the people in this party, it's probably intimidation.
Or deception.
Oh, amazing! I don't know why it rolled twice, but I'll take either one.
Wow. So you do meet one small Arkangard patrol that mostly looks pretty unhappy that they've pulled this duty, checking on the outlying farms on a festival day. But they, at least one of the younger, better-looking fellows brightens up when Bella walks up to speak to him. And what do you say?
Oh, I strike up, a conversation about how he looks like he spends a lot of time wandering around here, and he must know this area really, really well. I'm stuck with these morons back here. None of them ever want to ask for directions, but, as soon as I saw you, I thought, that's a guy who knows exactly the best way around here. I mean, considering that I'm sure you walk this almost every day.
Some of the others are kind of standing around, like, laughing at how flustered the young man gets. It's a human man, probably in his early 20s. And he kind of laughs and says, well, if you cut around behind Restanathi's farm, you can cut a few minutes time. Just keep going along. If that's the direction you're heading in, southeast, just keep going along that way. You can cut some of the bends out of the road. No need to take the long way around. That's if you don't mind getting the edge of your dress in the grass. He kind of stumbles over his words.
Oh, no, not at all. Thank you so much. I knew as soon as I saw you that you were somebody who would know exactly the direction I should be going.
Go ahead.
Oh, yes.
He just looks absolutely delighted that this beautiful half-elf woman has chosen to pay him such compliments.
I convey this information to the rest of the party.
Equita says, I hope you're proud of yourself, Bella.
I'm always proud of myself. Thank you.
Well, to be honest, I'm proud of you also.
That's the appropriate response.
Shall we? Alright, what's next?
So,
Ooh, I have an idea. Can using survival, could Akiri make sure they're staying on the correct direction and track that the guard so graciously gave us?
Absolutely.
Heck yes. Thank goodness.
Oh boy.
That was a nat 20.
Wow! Very well done. Do we have a theme song for you?
I actually finally found one, but I haven't sent it to you yet. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Well, imagine that it's playing now. So you're making sure that you guys are staying on a quick path. And it goes marvelously well. In fact, as you guys have gotten 3 check marks, without any X's.
No were-tigers this time.
I didn't say that. I'm going to ask... alright, well done, guys. The journey today goes very well indeed. In fact, you make such good progress that you are able to notice something that you might not otherwise have seen. I did forget to ask that what pace you're going at. I just assumed, guys always say normal pace, so I just assumed. Please tell me if that's not the case.
Yeah, I'm assuming
Yeah.
normal.
I'm going to ask who went first? Who jumped up first?
Breath did.
Bref, I'm going to ask you to roll a D. Hang on. There it is. Gonna ask you to roll a D. Loading. 58.
55.
After you guys, toward the end of the day, as you guys are going along so swimmingly, a merchant cart comes trundling up the road. You can see it's brightly painted. There are bags and a few jangly things hanging off the kind of swooping roof of the cart or wagon. And it's kind of, trundling along pretty swiftly. You can see the open back, or through the open front, rather, as it comes up to you. There are piles of what looks like furs. And it comes trundling up the road, and in the wintry, muddy conditions, splashes you with mud. The driver, immediately jumps off and begins apologizing profusely. A female half-elf. She calls herself Geneleth Mundy. She's muscular, carries a quiver of arrows at her hip. And she says, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Here, she pulls out some linens. Use these. Let me clean you off. I'm so sorry. I've just been in a hurry. I was hoping to get to Arkney today, for the festival, but I don't think I'm gonna make it.
Don't worry about it. It's no problem.
Yeah. So I'm so sorry.
Do you mind if we ask? Are you headed to Arkney for the festival?
Yes, I know. I missed it. It's today. I've just been hunting and picked up a bunch of nice furs, and I also sell a bunch of other things.
What do you sell?
She says, well, check this out. And she reaches into the back of the wagon and pulls out a wooden box. It's nicely made, nothing too special, but then she opens it. First she turns it with a key, and then she opens it, and starts going ding, 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 ding. Starts to play a little song. She says, "Music boxes."
That's such an interesting market niche. How did you stumble on fur and music boxes?
She says, "Well, I hunt. That's how There's not much stumbling there, but trading. There are some gnome craftsmen that I know from White Witch who make this sort of thing, and well, they had a few too many, I suppose, and let them go to me at a decent price. So I'm going to try and resell them. I've also got rings, handkerchiefs. You folks carry weapons. Maybe you need whetstones. All manner of things to... pretty things. I like pretty things. And selling them. And she kind of flexes her biceps at you.
Right. Well, does anybody need any furs, music boxes, rings, or other paraphernalia?
Let me ask you this. You said your name was Genelith?
Jeleneth.
Jeleneth. Okay. So Jeleneth, do you have any ideas of the best ways to keep fur clean while on the road?
She says, I sure do.
And if you have any products that will help clean fur, I would be more than happy to talk about paying for some of that.
She says, I know just what you need. She opens up a side panel on the wagon and pulls out a little jar of what looks like some kind of oil. And she says, you've got to keep your furs properly oiled, and any leather items, if you want them to keep functioning properly. Here you go. And I'll give it to you half price, because I did splash you folks with mud, which I'm very sorry about.
Well, that's very nice of you. How much would that be?
She says, give me 3 pieces of copper and we'll call it even.
All right. Thank you very much.
She kind of takes another look at you guys as you are gathered around. Says, say, are you adventurers?
We've known an adventure or two.
She says, would you be interested in a magic helmet?
When you say a magic helmet, can tell us more.
Well, I have the helmet of the armor of the Pearl Dragon.
Ah, and what does...
Picked it up from some scavengers in a Vey ruin a while back. And I happen to know where the rest is. But I have the helmet.
Man, I wish I could,
How much are you letting it go for?
She kind of purses her lips. 100 gold pieces.
What kind of
Too rich for
magic
my blood.
properties does this helmet have?
She says, well, each piece of the armor of the Pearl Dragon has its own magic property, and when you put them all together, it does something even more powerful. At least, so they say.
And you said you know where the rest of the armor is.
I do. And that price includes that information.
How can we be sure that this is what you say it is?
Well, would you like to take a look at it?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Can we insight check her?
She, huh?
People who are good at that?
I would love to insight check her myself. Can I do that?
You can try to gain insight into her mental state, yes.
Oh. I don't know if I care too much about that. I'm gonna let her mental state be hers.
Okay. So, to clarify, some GMs, or lots of GMs, kind of let insight basically be used as a always available lie detector, which I don't interpret it that way. And I think getting insight into someone's mental state can tell you whether they'd be likely to be lying.
Sure.
But it's not a lie detector. It's not a yes/no. Did I get high enough to know whether they're lying or not?
Right. Well, I would still like to insight check her. Just to
Certainly. Go for it.
use my apparently shitty powers of insight.
Okay.
That's a 7.
That's a decent +4, though.
Yeah, that's why I volunteered it. Thanks, Dice.
Okay. She says, or she, you don't really gain any insight. I mean, you can tell she's trying to make a sale. And she's hoping that, as adventurers, you seem like the most likely people she could run into who might be interested. But she pulls out, she if you guys want to see it, she pulls it out.
Okay, can we? Do you mind if we talk about? Can we talk this over real quick?
Before she pulls out the helm?
Oh well, no. We do definitely want to see it for sure.
Okay, so you're talking while she goes into the wagon and starts digging through her furs and starts unlocking a chest that has 3 locks on it.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn to everybody where hopefully she's not able to hear and say, okay. So the first question is, do we have 100 gold or anywhere near 100 gold? If we can talk her down to something below that. Yeah, that's what I thought. We could just kill her. And take it.
Equitas.
The heck? We cannot just kill everybody. We really need to put that on the far back burner for solutions to problems that we
not to do murders. That was the whole point of our trip.
Breath
Right.
is absolutely correct. No doing murders.
Okay. All right. No murder. I mean, I agree. We shouldn't. I was just wanted to make sure that everybody else is on, the same page that I was on with the murder.
Equitas, why do you always ask about, killing people? I'm genuinely concerned.
No, I don't want to kill her. But that does highlight the fact that, I don't even know what we're doing talking to her, because, if she'll take, maybe 3 gold for it, I can maybe give her 3 gold.
Well, I have 24 gold that I could put toward it, but I don't know if we can make up the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we did make up the difference, I think that getting the entire set is likely to be way more valuable than 100 gold pieces.
And you know what I just thought of? If we did kill her, she wouldn't be able to tell us where the rest of it is, so...
Well, yeah.
Well, that was dumb anyway.
Why are we even talking about that if we're all in agreement that none of us are interested in murdering anybody?
I'm not talking about it, you are.
Yeah, but we should just
Equitas,
table
you
it.
brought it up!
Did she say what this piece by itself, what kind of benefits it would give?
I didn't get that far. She said, do you want to look at it?
Because I think the only one who has any kind of money right now is Mavra.
Does she have
Yeah.
76 gold pieces? Because
And
if
then
she does, then we're in business.
Yeah.
Except I'm not interested.
She finishes unlocking the 3 locks on the chest. Click, click, click. And kind of looks over at you guys and says, well, here it is. And holds up this truly stunning helm. It almost looks like it's carven from Mother of Pearl. It is probably some kind of white steel and inlaid heavily with Mother of Pearl. And it kind of has this sweeping look to it, with this kind of hefty jaw protector that kind of makes the whole thing look a little bit like a dragon's head. And she says, well, I don't wear it myself because I don't want to attract bandits, you understand, as they tend to haunt these areas. But this helm protects the wearer. And with a greater protection than you would normally be able to have simply from armor. A magical protection. And they do say if you put all the pieces of the armor together, it gives you the power of a pearl dragon to cast Wish.
Whoosh.
We have bad experiences with casting Wish.
Oh, well. Then, maybe you're not interested.
Actually, I guess we wouldn't know that, because... Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Alright then.
Well,
So-
it's not really that. It's so much as that I think it might be a little bit rich for our blood at this current time. But
Understood.
tell you what, we're expecting to go back to Arkney shortly. If you're still there when we get back, then we will look you up. And if you haven't sold it to a more qualified buyer at that time, perhaps we will be ready to take it off your hands.
She says, fair enough. Glad to do business with you. Let me know if you want any of these decorative glass spheres. I'll also let them go half price. She starts putting away the helm and bids you a good day. And an easy travels.
You want a glass sphere?
No. No. I don't want a glass sphere. I wanted that helmet.
Okay, well, then you're going to have to find 100 gold pieces because, as we all agreed, nobody is interested in murdering anybody.
Yeah.
I used to be.
No, I don't. I know I don't. And that's, I was just saying that's always a possibility.
Yeah, for evil people.
You're right. Yes. Exactly. Let's go.
We keep going down the road.
Well, it's not too much farther after that, when the sun begins to set rather early in the evening, as it is still the depths of winter. So, do you guys want to continue pushing on at night or make camp?
We could push on for another hour.
I had enough of a negative experience with exhaustion after the desert chase.
Yeah, how
I'd
long
rather
have we
just make camp.
been traveling? Or awake?
You've really only been actually traveling for 4.5 to 5 hours.
But you said we started out in the late afternoon, I think, maybe?
I said early afternoon.
Early afternoon, okay. So it's probably midnight-ish.
No, it is around 5:30 or 6. The sun is setting.
Oh, okay.
I said that you would not be able to really get a full day of travel in.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, we're on the
Before
same.
it got dark. Now, if you guys don't want to stop when the sun sets, that's what I'm asking.
We haven't been traveling that long.
We could go for like just an hour, just an extra hour.
I'm down.
Yeah. Anybody disagree with going on for maybe another hour? Let's do it.
Are there any farms still in this area, or are we pretty far removed from that at this point?
There are farms in this area. As I mentioned, there are kind of like crumbled ruins, and in and among them are some farms. Most of them are lying fallow at this time of year. Most of the fields. But yeah, absolutely.
We might be able to convince somebody to let us camp in their barn if we wanted to stay out of the elements for the night.
It might take a couple of copper to let us do that. Yeah, that's true. Let's you want to go with me, Bella, and try see if we could convince somebody to let us do that?
Just don't
sure.
threaten to kill anyone.
Hmm?
Just don't threaten to kill anyone.
I'm there as a chaperone. I'll make sure that he behaves himself.
Thanks, Bella.
So can we find the nearest farm and find the farmer and see if we can sleep in his barn
You absolutely can.
Or her barn.
or their barn?
Go ahead and make a. Go ahead and make a persuasion roll. But before you do, actually, I will say that there are campsites. Places where other folk have camped at some point in the past. That you can see just a little farther down the road than your current position. And you can see people there lighting up some small fires against the night chill.
Well, that could be plan B. I mean, I'd rather sleep indoors, but
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I'd like to see if we can find someone that it looks like they own or are working at the farm and talk to them about borrowing their barn.
As you traipse over the fields, a few flakes of snow are falling as the evening rolls on. Not much yet. Nothing's gonna stick, but it is a sign of how cold it is. After a few knocks, the door of the farm you have chosen is answered. Go ahead and roll a D100.
43.
Okay. A female dwarf has answered the door. She is a little bit older. She wears a well-tailored gown and a tall hat with kind of very nice decoration. Although you don't see anyone else behind her in the house but the crackling fire and a couple of cats, she is surprisingly well dressed. She looks at you guys, the two of you, with a foul expression. Yes?
For a persuasion check.
Hi. Good
Are
evening.
you bandits?
No, we are not bandits. We mean no harm whatsoever. What time did you say it was? It was like late afternoon right now? Sunset?
The sun is setting. It is around 5:30, or by the time you get across the fields to a farmhouse, it's about 6.
Okay. No, ma'am. No, good ma'am. We mean you no harm at all. We just wanted to see if we might be able to persuade you to take a little coin for the use of your barn for the evening for some weary travelers. You won't even know we're here, and we will be off first thing in the morning.
That hat is delightful. Did you get it in town?
She says, no. Made it myself. Most of us folks out here may have to make things for ourselves.
That's amazing. I was sure that it must have been made by some kind of master haberdasher. Well, as my friend here says, we're a group of travelers on our way to escort a young lady back home to check on her brother, who we're afraid is not doing very well. And we've been traveling all day, and we wonder if we could possibly pay you a few coin to let us sleep in your barn, maybe?
She peers over her crescent-shaped spectacles at you. The barn is for animals to sleep in.
Right. Well, we didn't want to impose. We were hoping that maybe you would just allow us to, bundle up in the hayloft or something. And, as you see, the snow is starting to fall, and, just...
City folk normally can't stand the smell.
We're not city folk. We come from there, but we don't live there.
Right. Well, we've smelled worse. Believe us.
All right. So Bella, you made a persuasion roll already?
Yes, of 17.
All right. Normally, wait until I ask for it.
Oh, okay.
But you actually had advantage because Equitas is helping you.
25 then.
So she cracks a smile. Well, don't mind Bessie. She's got a bit of a farting problem. But if that doesn't bother you none, then what say you two... 4 coppers a head.
I think that I can make that work. Yes, absolutely.
And if you're in league with the bandits...
Absolutely not.
May a curse fall upon you for tricking an old lady.
No. Have you been having problems with bandits?
Yes, and orcs.
We've heard about the orc problem.
Yeah.
Every now and then a giant.
A giant?
Oh,
that sounds
aye.
like a big problem.
They wander in from the north.
Wow.
Poor old Mr. Aris.
Giants from the
He
north.
was a good man. But he's lost all of his cattle, and then they took him.
The giants took him?
Oh, yes. Those hill giants have a powerful hunger, they do say.
Wow.
That sounds terrible.
Didn't we fight a hill giant?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I thought we fought some. Okay.
Hill giants have been mentioned before in the campaign.
Okay.
One thing they were mentioned in Arkney as one of the problems that surround the town, but they were also mentioned in the very first session.
Okay. Well, thank you for the information. If you heard anything about the way to the southeast?
Southeast? Well, then you've got that nasty swamp.
There's a swamp.
With all them goblins in it. And the Dark Tower. South of here, we've got the Iron Maw Orc Camp. At least so they say. That's where the orcs come from.
Okay.
Lots of bandits.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the information. Is there?
Sure.
What should so, orcs, bandits, and the occasional giant. Is there anything else that you would say we would need to watch out for on the road?
She says, well, I can't say as, that depends on how far you're going.
Can I turn to Akiri? Do you know how far we are going?
Couple days, 3 days.
Oh,
So,
you're probably
couple
planning
days.
on crossing the Cloud Summit Peaks then. So if you're
Oh.
still going to be heading southeast when you cross the mountains, that's where the quagmire is.
The quagmire?
The Thurbu quagmire? With all them
What-
goblins and...
No, we'll just be turning into the mountains. A couple days through there, and we'll be at, over near, wow. One sec, let me pull up my notes.
Did I say Cloud Spire? I meant Cloud Summit.
I think you said Cloud Summit.
Okay, good.
Sorry, my notes are a disaster. I near Fortress Carsley and Wheelstone.
Mavra, did we say where we're going on the map? Yes, you went southeast out of Arkany, but you only did half a day's travel. I'm sorry, what was that last question, Akiri?
One sec. Yeah, we're going to... We're gonna hopefully be near Fortress Carsley and Wheelstone is where we're headed after another day or so into the mountains, and then we'll head south.
She says, I've barely heard of them places.
That's okay, they're only a couple days away.
Okay.
Or through mountains especially.
Nah, I doubt it. I'd have heard of them.
Well, let's just keep on going.
Going into the barn, you mean?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Don't mind Bessie, like I said.
Yes, she farts. We'll keep that in mind. Thank you so much for your hospitality and the information. And like I said, you won't even know we're here. We'll be out of your head first thing in the morning.
There's 7 of you.
Yes, and I'll hand over 3 silver pieces. I think that'll cover it. For 4 coppers times 7 is 28.
She looks surprised. Silver? You are fancy folks.
I've been working for the last week, so I'm a little flush with cash at the moment.
She nods. Well, have a nice night. Should be warm at least. And she shuts the door.
Success!
Alright, so let's go to the barn.
Welcome everyone to the Farting Cow Inn.
I don't notice any smell.
Yeah, well. It's there, Breath, I promise.
There is a pretty foul smell as you guys clamber into the barn, but it is quite warm, and you will not have to worry about freezing to death out in the fields on this winter night.
That was such a good idea.
I mean,
Bella.
fresh methane clouds will keep you warm, if nothing else.
It's a little less terrible up in the hay, where there's lots of bundled up food for the animals.
Perfect.
This is a bit of a stretch, but using animal handling and possibly like Akiri's background working on a farm and living on a farm.
Please make it stop farting, Akiri.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is there any way I could do that?
You're gonna try to heal the farting cow.
Exactly. I'm gonna see if there's like a reason she's farting and possibly see if I can help her.
She's got a couple of goats, a cow, and 3 pigs. All the animals are looking a little bit thin here in the winter.
Understandable.
Go ahead and make an probably would be a medicine check.
Really? I'll take that. That's
Actually,
better.
no, it can be both. Make a medicine check and an animal handling check, because you need animal handling just to get the cow to cooperate with you. Well,
she cooperates fine, but I don't know what I'm looking at.
Congratulations, Akiri. You have unlocked the Best Friends with Bessie achievement.
Best one.
Unfortunately, you are blasted in the face with an awful cloud right as you reach around back there to try and help her out, and as it almost knocks you out, you decide discretion is the better part of valor and retreat to the upper part of the loft of the barn.
And no one sleeps next to Akiri for the rest of the night.
Just gets all in the feathers. It's
yeah, she's just like preening for the next 3 hours, and it doesn't take the end.
Right.
I drew craft. Oh, sorry. I drew craft a lilac and I hand it to Akiri to smell.
Thank you. She can't smell it for the first 5 minutes.
Well, that will be a pretty effective way to combat the awful scent. Okay. I am going to ask... are you guys all going to sleep up in the loft of the barn? Or what are you doing?
I know this is a pretty safe place, but we should probably set a watch. She did talk an awful lot about bandits.
I agree. At least one of it. We should at least have a one-person watch.
Okay, so that's about 10 hours. There are 7 of you, so you can have one or two people on watch for a couple of hours at a time.
Yeah,
I'll take first watch.
All right, Briff. As you stay awake, the rest go down to slumber. Go ahead and... Yep, go ahead.
Before we go to sleep, Cordy just wants to turn to Bella real quick and just say, When I spoke to the Starseer, he wanted me to tell you that your father's alive. And that he's on this plane, if you are interested in that information.
Oh. Yes, yes, that's very good to know. I honestly wasn't sure at this point.
Yeah, he told me to let you know that he was okay, I suppose. At least alive.
Would everybody maybe hear any of this?
I mean, you're all in the loft, so it would be hard unless Cordy was whispering to miss it.
No, I'm just talking.
Okay. Bella, I've been meaning to talk to you since, well, a couple of different things, but what are the Great Bards?
Oh, huh. Wow. Well, they're known as that sort of like publicly, but originally they were kind of a creative circle, as far as I know. My father was part of it. There are 9 of them total, and they had some sort of, all of this far predates when I was born. By the time I came along, they weren't really meeting each other regularly or anything like that. They'd all gone to have very illustrious careers and were doing their own thing, but they had some kind of agreement, all 9 of them, where they were sort of like a creative collective, I suppose. And they started it. There was one person in the group who represented each of the 9 great arts and was considered to be the master of that art. So my father is the master of tragedy. Fitzywell, I guess I don't mind telling you now, is the master of painting, or was until he lost his sight. And I don't know that anyone has taken his place. I mean, as I said, as far as I know, they're fairly defunct, but there's there's all different, there poetry and music, and they're different masters of each of the arts. And before I was born, I think that they met semi-regularly. They had this club called the Ink Bloods, and they all would, I don't know, I mean, knowing my father, probably just get together and drink and make fun of each other's poetry.
Interesting. Okay. And what's the doom of the Great Bards?
That's not something that I had really heard until recently. I'm not really sure. But hopefully it's just that they're going to go out of print.
Is that... do I need to roll an insight check on that? I don't believe you really think that.
I don't know what to think, and I'm kind of trying not to think about it. Like I said, I'd never really heard anyone say that before, so...
Where did you hear about it, besides Fitzywell here? I mean, I heard you mention it to Fitzywell, I thought.
No, no, it did come up in that conversation. But Fitzywell is, he seems to think that the plot against him has something to do with the Inkbloods. He seems to think that one of them might be responsible for it. He suggested that it might be my father, and perhaps that's why I was in town. I told him honestly that, to the best of my knowledge, my father wishes him no ill, and certainly wouldn't be so weird about murdering him. I mean, not my father would never murder anybody, but if he was going to murder somebody, I don't think that he would do it like this.
Well,
So,
can I? Let's think about this. I mean, so these are all great creative types, right?
yeah.
Painters, playwrights, poets. I mean, it seems like doing something, if you wanted to kill somebody, I mean, this is a pretty creative way to do it. I mean, this, I could see where Fitzy would think that, that, that one of these Inkbloods would be a suspect, sure.
Sure. I mean, it might be that it's related somehow. Either it's one of them or it's somebody who doesn't like them. But I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't really have any strong suspicions of who would be capable of something like this. I haven't met all of them, but I've met a couple, and for the most part, well, for the most part, they didn't really seem like this sort of person.
For the most part.
I mean, I didn't like everybody, but it's hard to think that any of them would be this brutal.
Anyone in specific comes to mind that you didn't like?
Yes, but again, I can't. I think he would have a vested interest in keeping the great bards alive.
Who are you talking about?
Well, I know that there was a big disagreement, a big falling out between the Bard of History and several, at least my father. They didn't really get along. They had some kind of a disagreement about the general direction, I suppose, of what they were supposed to do with their powers or with their reputation. Or, I mean, of course, there's always legends surrounding people like this. They've all been really well-known writers for hundreds of years, or well-known artists for hundreds of years. So I don't really know or think that there's anything, anything other than just, like I said, a creative circle. But there was some kind of bargain that they all entered into when they formed the circle, and apparently many years down the line, the Bard of History tried to remind people of the bargain that they had all made, and my father didn't think that it should apply anymore now that they were all scattered and not really, part of a group anymore. But I don't really know anything else about it. I just happened to overhear when we were. Anyway,
Well,
and
it seems like if it was the Bard of History, it seems like his beef would be more with your father than with Fitzywell. Anyway,
I mean, yes, unless Fitzywell was also on my father's side. But again, I mean, having a disagreement over a promise made among friends hundreds of years ago hardly amounts to a murder plot.
Fitzywell seems to think so.
Well, I want to talk to him when we get back to Arkney, because I want to know why he was so insistent to everybody except me that he had absolutely no idea what was going on or who would want to murder him or anything like that. And then all of a sudden, as soon as I walk in the door, he immediately assumes that he knows exactly who wants to kill him and why.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Okay.
But again, I don't. The fact that I personally disliked the man and know that he and my father are no longer friends, I can't assume that that means that he's a murderer.
Right. Well, I mean, you know your father. If he's not a murderer, he's not a murderer. But it seems like Fitzy, he wasn't what I would call he seemed to be, he, he didn't seem, he seemed to know what he was talking about. He didn't seem to be the type that would throw accusations around willy-nilly.
Well, that's why I want to talk to him, because if he has reason to think this,
Yeah.
then I have been thinking for a while that this method of killing is very scattershot and seems like it would make a lot more sense if Fitzywell wasn't the only target.
True.
And ever since Fitzywell made the connection between the Nine Bards and this murder plot, I have been concerned that the Nine Bards might be general target of this Gesh.
Yeah. Maybe the closer you are to it, yeah. Maybe there are different Gesh for the Nine Bards, and the closer you, yeah, yeah, you're right. It makes sense. Well, we'll need to keep an eye on your father then.
Yes,
Good to hear that he's okay.
Apparently someone is keeping an eye on him, so I suppose I'll have to check in and with a Porion or whatever his name, a Poniorn, when we get back to Arkney.
Yeah. All right. And really, good job with the guard earlier.
Oh, well, thanks. I mean, it's pretty easy to talk people into giving you that kind of information. You just have to not threaten to murder them in the first 30 seconds.
It's pretty easy to talk them into giving you that information when you threaten to murder them in the first 30 seconds also.
Well, agree to disagree.
Fair enough.
Equitus, I think it just depends on what kind of people you're talking to.
I'm learning different ways of getting information from people and talking to people.
Well, we appreciate the effort, and she gives you a hug.
Thank you, girls.
We're hoping to get down to a 0 murder threat week sometime within the next few months.
Fingers crossed.
We need like a sign that says it's been like blank days since Equitus threatened to murder.
I don't know if I can promise, because as soon as I say that I won't murder anybody, there'll be somebody that really needs to be murdered.
Yeah, it's best to keep your options open.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what my point's been this whole time.
I agree, but the Kiri definitely does not.
All right, let's go to bed.
All right, I guess we bed down for the night.
Bref.
I'm going to spend a little while cleaning my new cloak and oiling down my leather arm.
The
If
oil
you know what I
seems-
mean.
The oil seems to work pretty well, although it does have kind of a smell to it.
Oh,
A little bit of a
good.
chemical smell.
Super.
But it does seem to work pretty nicely.
I mean, can he even smell it under the circumstances?
That's a good point.
Bref, as first on watch, staying up, there's about 15 minutes where Equitus is awake also, past when everyone else is asleep, but then you're alone, the wind is blowing outside around the barn, you can feel the cold coming through the walls of the barn, but it's warm if smelly in here, smelly even for Bref. Go ahead and make a perception roll for me.
$14.
All right. Not much to note. You hear occasional animal noises and from Bessie. Who is next on watch?
And Kiri will go.
Alrighty.
$24.
24. You also don't notice anything untoward, although on the wind in the far distance you think you occasionally hear some voices carried on the wind. Rough, low voices. But it sounds very far away, and it's only when the wind is just right.
Could I tell which direction the wind is coming from?
You can. It's coming from mostly the north and east. North and west. But occasionally it swings round to coming from the south, and that's generally when you hear voices.
Okie doke. Thanks.
Who is next on watch? As you wake up the next person gently.
I'll go.
What? Cordy's good to get up because she would be fully rested, so she's good to just chill. As long as needs to, if other people need to sleep, would rather just sleep.
Who's on watch?
Cordy would like to because she's been fully rested if it's been 4 hours.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception roll.
As Kiri is waking her up, can she be like, "Hey, Cordy, I thought I heard voices on the wind. Just be careful, okay?"
I will be, but sometimes the wind does whisper.
Yeah, Kiri has no idea how to respond to that. She just nods and goes right back to sleep.
16.
Right. You don't really hear any of those voices she was talking about. And you feel the land around you dormant in these winter months. Not many things growing. blooming, crawling, or doing any of their normal activities, but mostly hunkered down. Tomorrow, surely, the desperate battle for survival will begin again. But tonight is mostly quiet. Partway through Cordy's watch, the calendar advances to the next day. It is now the 6th of Fiexi. Freedom Day.
Just because Cordy's curious, during her watch, can she just like see if there's any weird mushrooms growing around this?
Certainly. Roll a D100.
25.
Nothing particularly interesting or strange. There's some lichens. There's some lichen that grows on the boulders roundabout or on the baseboards. There's a bit of a mold problem starting up from where Bessie's leavings lean against the wall.
Do I think the mold is dangerous for the animals?
No. Okay. Who do you wake up next?
I'll take a watch.
I'm just gonna stay up.
You're not going to get a full night's rest?
She's an elf.
You've already done your meditations. So you will be up as Equitus starts his watch. Go ahead and I guess both of you make perception rolls.
I'd like to say, hey, if you heard anything out here tonight?
Nothing that I'm aware of. When Kiri woke me up, she said that there were voices on the wind, but I mean, I hear voices all the time, so I don't know if that's something worth getting involved with. But it seemed to bother her enough to tell me, so maybe that's something.
Tell me, so Cordy, I didn't want to talk to you. You're very interesting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What? Okay. You have some sort of relationship with the glue, correct?
Gloom, would usher in the evenings where I'm from.
Okay. And what? Okay. All right. And where are you from? Where is that?
Well, I guess I mean, I'm from the woods, sort of. But I guess when I got involved with like my druidic circles, that's in like of the deep fungal forest.
Okay. And okay. You're what do you? Okay. I think you cut out.
The fungal forest of the Eversport.
Ah. Wow. So you're from the fungal forest. You know, Cordy, that... Because I want to ask you if that means that when say you grew up in the fungal forest, how do I even ask
I
this?
didn't. I didn't grow up in the fungal forest. Well, I mean,
Oh,
I guess define grow up. I turned. I guess I was. I guess I went into the fungal forest like 20 something years ago, but I was like already like 100 something. So,
right,
but I turned adult when I was 100. So I guess it kind of depends on what you consider growing up.
right. And what happened to you in this fungal forest? Do you remember going in?
I think I was just led there, honestly. I just remember running a lot, and then I was in a fungal forest, and there were just all these interesting trees and plants and beautiful, like, growths everywhere and decay, and it was beautiful in like a very earthy way, I guess. And in my, I guess I was running from something. I don't entirely know why I was running, but I think
Equitas
that I
and
must have been running something good if it ended up leading me to my family.
Right.
Equitas and Cordy, you notice Akiri sits up from slumber.
Hmm.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Curls.
Guys?
Did we wake you up?
No. I I don't think you guys did. I heard more voices again on the wind. I think. Maybe it was you guys, I don't know. But
Did they
it
they
was enough
say
to wake me
anything
up.
specific? Or was it just voices?
I can't understand them. They're like real rough and gravelly.
Hmm.
She's speaking very quietly, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Do you hear them right now?
Do I?
Make a perception roll. Nope.
Dang it.
You said they
Oh,
were gravelly?
yeah, they're like real rough and gravelly.
That's sort of the way you described the voice in your dream the other day.
Yeah, but not like that. It's
Okay.
more like, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Okay. Well, we're on watch. We'll make sure nothing happens tonight, and if we hear anything, we'll wake everybody up. But get some sleep, okay, Carls?
I kind of want to stay up, honestly. I don't like it.
Well, okay. That's up to
It's
you.
just like, maybe it's just her talking about the bandits. I don't know. I don't know.
Is it
I'm gonna take off my cloak and put it over Akiri.
She snuggles into it, then curls up next to you.
It's even softer than it looks.
Is there any light in the barn, or is it just like dark?
You can both see in the dark.
Yeah, for Akiri.
There would be a little bit of moonlight, but it's pretty much pitch black. It's almost pitch black.
You want to stay up with us, Akiri?
Yeah, just for a little while, I think.
I'm gonna place my hand on her shoulder and cast Dark Vision on her.
Oh, okay.
She's just like, I can see. Oh, this is cool. Thank you for the.
A new form of vision comes over your eyes. You can see in black and white and grays, no colors, but it's night vision, and it's pretty cool. Hey, Haley!
And she's gone.
So you have that for 8 hours.
Sweet, thank you.
That's pretty cool.
That was
Yeah,
really cool, actually.
I guess we'll just sort of sit there and use our little perception scores to see what happens.
I think I already had you roll those.
Yeah, that's what I meant. to
You were
use
just
our already rolled perception scores.
narrating the conversation you guys were having when Akiri awakened. Did you want to continue, or should we move on?
I think I'm pretty much. I mean, I think that was all I pretty much wanted to get off my chest.
Okay.
Perhaps one day we can journey and you can see it for all of its.
I might like that, but I might like that. Yeah,
Wait.
I would at least like to see it. I bet it is beautiful.
It's magnificent.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
All right. Who do you guys, as Akiri, you're only staying up a very short time with them?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, who do you guys, so Akiri eventually curls up and goes back to sleep. And, nothing else untoward happens in the night. Who do you guys wake up next? Let's see, that was the third watch?
Yeah, I think we have one more by my count, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it two more?
No, 2 more.
Yeah.
Minimum 2 more.
Who wants to go next?
I can.
Okay. I'll wake up Mavra.
Or are you just gonna?
Mavra, you awaken and think about the knowledge or memory that was triggered when people were talking earlier. As the cold wind blows around the barn outside, I'm going to ask you to make a perception roll for your watch. You're drowsy. It's the wee hours of the night. Your eyes blink heavily. But nothing seems to bother you. Do you want to do anything, or just watch?
Just watch.
All right. Eventually, your watch comes to an end, and you sleepily wake up the next person. Who is that?
Did I already take a watch?
Nope.
I'll go ahead and take one.
All right. Well, Krim, back in town, it was so chaotic, and you got so nervous when you saw another potential survivor of the drowning. You missed the chance to, when you didn't want to slow down the exit of the town by the group, you didn't end up getting the chance to confront her, but you know that there's another Dragonborn in Arkney. And this thought percolates through your mind as you roll a perception roll for your watch. $18.
Not bad to start off the night for me.
Very nice. You keep a sharp ear out, and occasionally look through the knotholes and cracks in the walls of the barn. It's warm in here, as Bessie just never stops letting off the down below. And all of your friends are here, and a few other animals, goats and pigs, down below as well. Nothing other than the animal sounds and occasional snores from your companions disturbs the night. Do you want to do anything during your watch, or just watch?
Have I attuned to Samson's locket?
You have not. You would not really be able to do that and watch at the same time.
Okay. Then I'll table that for now.
Okay. All right. Daybreak. And shortly thereafter, you are all awake, rousing yourselves in the smelly barn. The door is thrown open, and the old dwarf woman stomps in with a clattering of tin pails. And she says, "Good morning," and goes over to milk Bessie. And she starts talking to the cow. There, easy does it. Let it all out, you poor thing.
Good morning. Good morning. We will be out of your hair right now. Just let us finish waking up, and we're going to gather our things, and we will be on our way. Thank you again for the use of your barn.
She says, you're more than welcome. Thank you for your coin. And kind of chuckles to herself as she tugs on the meager teats.
You have a bit of a mold growing on some of your woods. You might want to be careful of rot.
Thanks for the warning. Poor old Aster. He would have helped me with that. But the giants got him. Arkangard were a fat load of good when it comes to the giants. They do all right with the orcs and bandits. Best they can, anyhow.
Is it possible for me to, like, get rid of the mold? Like, or
Sure.
know how to, like, get it off? Because I'm happy to do that.
What do you do?
I don't know if I could, like... I'm trying to think, like, if it would be better... Like, I don't know if I just have to, like, manually scrape it off, or if I could, like, do some type of thing with, like, druid crafting or nature to, like, somehow clean it out of the
Druidcraft
wood.
would
Like, I don't
probably
know.
work.
Yeah, so I think I'd like to try to what I could do with the bounds of druidcraft to spend some time to, like, get them, make sure it's, like, really out of the wood grain.
Okay. Describe what you do a little bit.
I just want to pull up the spell so I just can read it real quick. to just kind of like run my hands over it and try to see if I can druid help push the mold out, like coax the mold out of the wood grain, like manipulate it out so that I can like hold it in my hand. Is that something I could do? Like manipulate it to come.
You run your fingers, casting the spell, as you run your fingers over the wall where the mold is growing behind the mound of cow poop, and the greenish and black stuff kind of springs from the wood and toward your fingers. Cordy Safi, you are gathering friends.
Friends?
Growing, spreading.
So they're happy that I'm holding this like fungus, right? Like they're down with this fungus. If I feel the mold and stuff that I'm pulling out of the wood is pleasing the spores in my head, I'm going to take it and like smear it up.
You smear it where?
Up my arm. Like I have like mold growing all over my body, so I want to just kind of like rub it into my arms, like in where there already is like various parts of like mushrooms and stuff.
They are part of us now. Welcome to the choir.
All right. Thank you for your constant guidance. And I guess I just finish rubbing the mold into my skin. And does it get absorbed into my skin, or does it just sit on top?
It just sits on top.
Okay.
But yes, you have Cordy's guys is doing something behind the cow poop, and then walks out with this streak of dark greenish material along her arm as you guys pack up your stuff and exit the barn.
I mean, I'm just gonna pretend that I don't see that.
I'm watching. I'm fascinated. But, no judgment. Just fascinated. All right. Are we ready to go?
This is Haley speaking. Where exactly are we heading? And where are we?
We are in 1512, and we're headed to 1615.
Thank you.
Well, that is Akiri speaking, or at least that's what you think.
And you said we're headed to 16 who now? What?
Wait, sorry, did Krim ask that in character?
No, she said that was Haley asking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm just getting caught up.
Yeah, Haley, we're in 1512 and we're headed to 1615.
Thank you.
All right. So do we want to keep on going south, or do we want to go southeast and then go south?
In character, I think we should go southeast another day or so, just because the voices I heard last night, like real rough ones, sounded like they were coming from the south. And
Okay.
I think we should try to avoid those as much as possible.
Okay. Well, then let's go southeast. Well, this is your party. Let's do it. To the southeast.
Okay. Well, if you're all doing that, you guys leave the barn and the woman behind and begin crossing the outlying farm land from Arkney once again. Eventually, well, that seems to be what you were walking through. So it's pretty easy going. You are getting a much earlier start today, so you will be able to go farther with the daylight. Go ahead and somebody jump up and step up to the plate and declare how you are helping you guys travel.
Okay.
I'd like.
Oh no, go for it.
I'd like to use my knowledge of nature to make sure we don't trample through any poisonous plants or anything. Are we following roads or are we cutting through land? Because I think we were cutting through land for a while, right? Are we still doing?
There are roads here, but there's no main road. There are kind of paths between farms. But there isn't like a really big, broad, well-kept main road.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure that we don't like accidentally trample through like any type of like poisonous plant or brambles or anything that could potentially hurt anybody. No ivy, oak, none of that. Just safe foot.
I absolutely buy that. Make a knowledge nature check. I guess, or survival.
I prefer survival.
That's fine.
And it's crap.
Fortunately, well, let's see. I told you this is really easy terrain. That's actually a success.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good at identifying plants.
Oh, look at this room. Oh, this is a good room.
You
Ooh, I like
actually stop somebody before they step into the poison nettle by the side of the road.
That stuff stings, but it makes banging tea.
All right, who else wants to jump in?
Can I check the weather first?
Roll it. It's a pretty nice day. The
Sweet.
little bit of snow has mostly melted away. It didn't really stick as you expected. Still traveling through the farmland.
Then Akiri's gonna do the scouting ahead kind of thing. Because she was on the ground most of yesterday, so she wants to be up in the sky.
What pace are you guys sitting? I forgot to ask.
Normal still.
Okay. Sorry, you're gonna use survival to kind of check the roads ahead and make sure you're taking the optimal path.
I prefer survival. Yeah, I'll take survival. But she's flying ahead, so I'm not sure.
Alright. Survival it is. Very nice. You make a big difference. Because these little winding pathways that are really just how the farmers travel from one farm to another, or perhaps flee from orcs, bandits, and giants. You are able to tell people which will, take the most direct southeast path. And it is very, very helpful, very effective.
Sweet.
Okay. As you get toward the last third of the day, so you're still walking through farmland. Walking along the road, Bella, are you more toward the front of the group or more toward the back as you guys are walking along?
Probably more toward the back, I guess. I usually am back to middle back.
Okay. Well, Mavra kind of slows down and drops toward the back and walks up to speak to you. The dwarf fighter, replete in her armor.
I say, can I help you with something?
Didn't someone tell us that there was dwarven magic involved in the sigil?
Yes, I think I... Oh. Yes, that was something that Equitus found out from his, patron.
Do you know of the great bard dwarven poet?
Can I make a knowledge check?
Certainly. Make a history check.
More bird, more bird, more bird.
That's a 20.
You have.
I say, oh, you know, I had completely forgotten about that, but now that you mention it, I don't think that we've ever met, but yes, I have heard of it. Yes, I've heard of them. Why, do you think that they might be involved?
I don't know. I just wanted to make sure you were aware of him so that it might help in your search.
Right.
You don't remember their name, Bella, but you know that you recall suddenly that your father mentioned that very religious dwarven bard, the Bard of Psalms. Religious poetry.
Interesting. Okay. Well, if we get back to Arkney, that might be something that would be worth looking into, seeing if I could find some of the books and maybe some clues in there. I don't even know where to start looking.
You do have the feeling that Mavra knows his name.
You wouldn't happen to remember his name, would you?
Kundreg Chainbraid?
Can you spell that in the chat, Max?
Yo, what was that now?
Certainly.
Right. Well, I suppose when we get back to Arkney, I'll add that to the list of 500 things that I'll research while we're there. Maybe I can. Well, hopefully I have enough money to last me through so I don't feel a need to play for the mellow wheel again. But thank you for reminding me of that. That's good information. He might, even if he isn't responsible, he might know a little bit more than the rest of them about what this is.
And I can help research with you if you'd like to. If it would ease all the research you have to do.
I would certainly appreciate it. Although you should prioritize the pink chill. I mean, that should be our main priority. We should focus on things that might have an immediate solution rather than giant world-ending possibilities.
Perhaps.
All right. You converse as you're walking along the road and meandering between the farms. You guys are starting to see the mountains. Patchy with snow here and there, but not snow-capped. Farther ahead. And the thick forest that covers them as well. Who is going to jump up to be our third person who helps you guys travel?
Can Akiri somehow manage to convince Breath to sing a sea shanty?
That would definitely pick up our spirits.
It would.
It would help me keep going.
Agreed.
That's not up to me.
I suppose if it would help pass the time.
Hey Bella, maybe you
My
could do like a
clothes
two.
are all in pawn, and it's mighty round the cape, where ice and snow are long to go. Oh, mother, till I wake.
Make a perform check with advantage. Nice. You are all blown away by Breath's musical bellow as you finish your the day's travels, and you pick up your steps, and it is and you move too swiftly to run into trouble. Surely, that was amazing. Thank you.
I had no idea that would work.
If I'm not mistaken, that's 3 successes in a row.
Whoops.
We run into the same merchant.
Maybe
And
she's
says,
coming back.
And she says, "You know what? You can just have this, and I'll tell you, I'll go get the rest of the armor for you."
3 check marks, no X's. Who jumped up first? Cordy? Cordy, roll a D58, please.
I'm so glad that actually worked. I wasn't expecting that. That was amazing.
That was amazing.
I'm sorry, because I can't find it. How do you roll a weird die?
R slash.
Well, /R.
Sorry.
Right?
/R. Space 1D 58. There we go. Well, if not for avoiding those nettles, following the most optimal path along the backcountry roads, and your spirits being high from Bref's song, you never would have noticed the low mound on a hill with a circle of stones off to one side of the path. You come upon it. Toward the end of the day. The sun is just starting to kiss the horizon. Behind you.
There's some weird stones over there.
Let's go check them out.
Go and check it out. These old boulders have been here a while. They've been worn down by the wind and the rain over time. They're not in a circle. They are in a kind of a long oval pointed on one side. And there's a stone in the middle. And Bref recognizes this as a stone ship.
So,
it's a circle. It's a stones arranged like the outline of a ship. And this is sacred. This is a shrine to Afisti.
so is it like a Viking burial type thing?
It certainly can be.
What's the feasty the god of?
Roll a religion check. You know that her title is the Goddess of Waves. And you've noticed that sailors often worship her.
Bref, do you know anything about Avisi?
Sure I do. I know all about a feasty.
Would you like to roll a religion check? You can make.
Love to roll
You can make a religion check with advantage.
16.
Afisti has another name. Umberly. And one of your sea brothers had a very special connection with her. She's an ocean goddess of unpredictable weather and powerful moods. And sailors often talk of Afisti as though she were a mercurial mistress that they must pay great respect to. And you know that these stone ships can be burial places, and they can also be places marking, burial places of a great sailor or captain. And they can also be good places to connect with the cycle pantheon, with a feisty, and meditate on the chaotic nature of life.
All that!
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I mean, it's better than I could have summarized it. So I never had a super close relationship religiously growing up, but my brother did, and so I suppose I kind of have a connection to this place.
Do you think it'd be a good place to camp, or is it getting close to that time?
The shadows of the boulders are long across the grass. The sun is now at this point just a half sphere of orange above the horizon. It's setting quickly.
So what is this doing out here? Not near any water. Do you have any idea, Brev?
Well, this kind of shrine would have been set up if someone had lived the life of the sea, but when they passed here on the land. Because they couldn't be brought back to the sea, they had to make do with where they were. This is what our worshippers tend to do when they have to be taken away from the sea by life's different currents, like my own.
Thank you to Yashers for hosting.
Sweet.
And that was very well said, Breath. That was exactly right.
Would I know, not that she necessarily offer protection, but based on my knowledge, mostly secondhand knowledge from my brother, would this be a relatively safe place?
It's not necessarily any more or less protected. Probably, it's more exposed than the inside of a barn. You guys are, at this point, this hill is part of the foothills of the mountains. You have just barely left the farmland at this point. Okay? So you are just at the very edge of the thickly forested mountains. And that's what this hill is kind of among those foothills. It's not necessarily any safer, but there is definitely paying your respects to a feisty comes with rewards.
Well, I mean, if she's all about meditating on the chaotic nature of life, I've got some thoughts on that I can sit there and think on, for sure. So I will take a minute to kind of sit kind of next to her shrine and meditate on, the crazy stuff that's happened that's brought me to here. And I'll also place a silver somewhere on one of the stones.
How close together are these stones? Like, are we
It's
talking
fairly
like
big.
so like Stonehenge in size? Not necessarily the size
No,
of the
no,
stone.
no, no.
Just in
No,
terms
it's
of their
not.
spread.
It's not Stonehenge in size, either in spread or in stone size. But it is big. It's about 20 feet from stem to stern. Well, actually, more like more like 30 or 40 feet, actually. From stem to stern of this stone ship. And maybe a third of that across. And the stones themselves are about the size of a crouching person.
In the honor of the spirit of chaos, I have 7 silver coins, and I'm going to take them all in my hand and toss them in the air, and any that hit a stone on the way down I'm going to dedicate to a feastie.
Hang on, I have to answer Krim. Okay. Could you repeat that, please?
So I have 7 silver coins, and in the spirit of chaos, I'm going to take my 7 coins in hand in the center of the shrine and throw them above me, and any that hit stones on the way down I will dedicate to a feastie in the honor of chaos.
Neat. Both of you who have laid coins down, make sure to mark those off of your character sheet. And you feel strange peace. A strange calm coming over you when you are inside the stone ship. Oh, and the stones are placed about 5 feet apart or so. To answer your question, Bref, I forgot. They're not perfectly regular. But you both, I think only 2 of you did this, feel a certain peace just coming over you. And as you dedicate a couple of stones to a feastie, you definitely feel more at home than you felt in a long time, Bref. Not since sleeping on the boat in Toreen.
Can I dedicate something to a feastie?
Certainly.
I'm going to do a few steps of the dance that I used to know for the Raylan Brewery.
Krim is dancing, you guys.
That's beautiful.
Make a perform check. Pretty darn solid. She moves with an even greater sense of grace than your Dragonborn sorcerer normally does among the stones. It's a little bit similar in style, though not identical, to the blue-scaled dragonborn you saw from a distance on the stage at the Festival of the Hoarding God in Arkney the day before.
Equitus is entranced.
Oh, Cram, that's so cool.
And suddenly taken out of it and like, oh, thank you. Thank you.
That was
Sorry.
amazing, Crab. Where did you learn to do that?
My clan used to do it, and trust me, I haven't practiced in years. This isn't anything special. You should have seen my two sisters. Well, two of my sisters. They were much better at it than I was.
Well,
But
and
we
it
used
must
to
have been
dance.
something else.
yeah, we used to dance on the first week of the feasty, so I figured she might appreciate the remembering it.
Oh, it's very thoughtful.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
Were we going to camp here?
Seems like a good plan to me.
Yeah, I agree. I feel pretty safe here. Safer than not here, anyway.
You too, Krim, feel a certain peace coming over you when you're standing among these stones, marking an object of the sea so far from the sea. Okay. As you guys set up camp, it's a bit colder here out of the barn. And it's certainly a lot more exposed. But as you... Go ahead.
I'd like to Druidcraft to predict the weather for the next 24 hours. That's one of the features. It makes like an orb, just to see if like we should like if it might rain or snow or something that we should be aware of with how we set up.
Certainly. Hey, Lion Nation. Thanks for checking in. Go ahead and roll the weather macro twice. And meanwhile, Bref, Equitus, and Krim, as you guys are settling into camp, unrolling your bedrolls, you three need to roll a hit die for me, please.
Will we take this hit die off of our total?
You will... What kind of a question is that?
Well, I don't know. Never mind.
Okay. Add that number to your hit points as temporary HP. It will be permanent until lost in battle. Hi, Area Singh. All right. Question: are you guys lighting a fire for warm food, or are you snacking on cold rations?
I'm fine with rations. What does everyone think?
I don't feel a particular need to cook.
Same.
So that was a no?
No fire.
Okay. And yes, Accordy, you know that your spell tells you your spell gives you special knowledge.
Cordy Safi, a storm is coming. Thunder, snow will sweep in from the cold mountains. It will blow away very quickly, but it will be a terrible storm.
So I'll turn to the group and say, there's a terrible storm coming. Lightning and thunder and sleet, snow, and I don't know, try to like seek cover. I think that it probably will be really intense and then hopefully will dissipate, but I don't know if we want to be out in the open when it happens.
All right.
What do you guys want to do? Do you want to just stay here, or should we try to find shelter, or what do you...
Do you have any idea how long until it blows in?
Do I have any idea about how long until it blows in?
It's gonna blow in sometime tonight.
In the evening, I'm not quite sure when.
Well, I suppose if people wanted to look for shelter, are there any obvious sources of shelter nearby?
Are there sources of shelter?
Yeah.
There's back toward the farmland. There's some crumbling walls. There's the standing stones. They're strangely peaceful for some of you while you're within them. And there's the forest. The thick forest, a little farther down the road. There's not too much else. Trees, rocks, nothing. There aren't really any buildings nearby.
Well, I'll defer to people who are better at naturecraft than I am.
Is there any way Akiri could scout it out again?
What do you want to scout? Like, you want to look for, you want to like circle around and see? Yeah, sure. Go ahead and make a survival. No, it's dark now. It's dark now. You can try, but it'll be very hard to see anything. And there are scuds of clouds blowing in overhead.
Hey Cordy, could I get... I don't know if this is too much to ask, but could I get dark vision again and maybe see if I can, see if there's anything around that might protect us?
I'll cast it again on her.
You cast what? Dark vision?
I'll give her dark.
Okay. Sorry for the distraction. You swoop around fairly low to the ground, 60 feet, looking for some shelter from the storm. Go ahead and make a survival roll.
15.
You do spot something. A little further toward the mountains, there's a shallow, what looks like a shallow kind of, almost like a cave. There's some boulders that are kind of tumbled over one another that might form some kind of shelter, but it would require everyone picking up their stuff and moving camp. It was a pretty quick flight for you, but it might take everybody else an hour or more.
Okay, so I'll come back and tell everyone that. So I flew around a little bit and I saw something that might give us shelter, and I mean, I don't know, it was fast for me, but you guys aren't as fast. And it might take an hour-ish to get there. But it's shelter. So, I don't know.
It might be wise if we think that we would outrun the storm. I mean, if we're not going to outrun the storm, we might as well just... Sorry, baby sleepiness. We might as well just stay here and try to hunker down. But if we could make it before the storm, then it might be good to try and run.
Yeah, we could definitely try it. What does everyone else think?
I mean, I don't mind sleeping out in the storm, as long as we have shelter, but I know not everyone here has a tent.
Exactly.
Right, well, let's get going then. No point waiting around if we're going to head out. We should head out sooner rather than later.
Alright, let's go then.
I guess we pack up and start going.
In the gathering dark of the evening, you guys pick up all your stuff and leave the stone ship. Crim, Equitus, and Bref. Oh no, we lost Bella due to our own little goblin. Crim, Equitus, and Bref. Take half, rounded up, of the bonus HP. since you're not sleeping in the stones. You guys rush over and you find this pile of boulders at the feet of these Cloud Summit peaks. They are living up to their name as dark clouds are sweeping in, being cut to ribbons by the peaks themselves overhead. And you can hear the distant rumble of thunder on the snowy mountaintops. It does seem that thunder snow is on the way, as predicted by the voices in Cordy's head. You remake camp, and I am going to ask you all to make Constitution saving throws, as you had to drag all your stuff another hour down the road, interrupting your settling in. Okay. Bref, Aquitus, and Mavra. You find yourselves somewhat disturbed by all this. Bref is probably carrying somebody else's pack, let's be honest. Leaving the stones behind perhaps wasn't as comfortable either. You are each going to take 1 level of exhaustion. So you guys collapse onto your bedrolls as the wind begins to howl between the cracks in the stones.
Are we all like huddled close together?
Uh-huh.
Is there a lot of space or is it cramped? Where, like, under the rocks where we are, like, are we like do we have to be
it would be pretty cramped, especially if some of you are trying to actually put up your tents.
Because I was going to suggest I could turn into a bear and we can just snuggle up next to a bear, but I don't know if that's too big, so it's kind of what the party wants.
There's enough room in the hollow formed by the boulders to do that.
Would you guys like to snuggle a bear?
I would
Hell
definitely
yes.
like to snuggle you.
It's always a good
Cordy
time
bear.
to snuggle a bear, unless it's trying to eat you.
You have just unlocked one of my dreams, Cordy. Like, that's amazing.
Well, this is a vegan bear, so we're good.
How long does that last?
It's a couple of hours. I'm looking. I was reading it while I was floating it. It has to do with my druid level. It's like.
Oh, it's longer than 1 hour?
I think so. Let me double check. There's something weird about, like, it's like a stat plus a thing. I just gotta pull it up. I can do it for 2 hours. But I can just, like, redo it, too, if I, like, revert back, theoretically.
Okay. Well, for 2 hours at least, you guys may not have a fire, but you do have a warm, furry bear created through the channeling the power of nature. Even if it smells a bit musty due to the mushrooms growing out from beneath its fur, it is a very cuddly and warm beast. The
Do
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do we want to do watches? I mean, yeah, I think we do want to do watches. I suppose as you say, who wants to do a watch? I have a level of exhaustion. I want to make sure I get a good night's sleep, but I'll go ahead and take the first watch.
Okay, so you're on the first watch.
Well, I'll stay up too. We're out in the wild now. It's a little less safe than when we were in the barn. So let's get this watch knocked out.
You guys stay up as the cold slush begins to rain down from the heavens, covering everything in a freezing layer of wet ice. And it hasn't quite hit yet, but the wind is increasing. The precipitation is cold and uncomfortable. You're kind of huddled. You can stretch some of your tent, coverings out between the boulders.
I was just gonna say, if there's a way we can use our tents to kind of block the weather, that'd be good.
That's what you do. Go ahead. You don't even have to roll for it. You can just hammer the stakes in over the boulders and kind of create this sort of large group tent between
I got
them.
I got that tiger pelt we can hammer up. Nah, tiger pelt's not going to be that huge though, not that big. So yeah, maybe not.
Okay. Go ahead and make perception rolls as you guys occasionally peer out from the tent coverings.
I clicked on the wrong one. Ignore
Okay.
that performance roll.
15 and 18. All right. There is nary a creature out and about tonight. Not in this weather. The freezing slush has seen to that. Unless, of course, it's something that doesn't mind the cold. But you don't hear any unfriendly steps nearby. Just the distant thunder in the mountains as the worst of the storm has yet to hit. Go ahead and is there anything else you guys want to do while on watch?
I don't think so.
Poke each other occasionally so we don't fall asleep.
Stay awake, ref.
You got it. Who do you wake up next?
Eeny, meeny.
Akiri will do it.
Wake up Akiri next.
Yeah.
If someone wants to join
Okay.
her, they are more than welcome to.
I'll join her.
Oh, okay. So Krim and Akiri, you guys get up. Blink. You can hear the distant thunder, and the terrible storm is going to sweep in. And the heavy slush is coming down. And as as you are watching. It does eventually hit properly.
It's cold. Is it like sleet or snow or like blizzard?
It's heavy sleet. An icy rain. Everything is getting pelted outside, and it's cold. It splashes occasionally inside and runs down the sides of the boulders. You can feel the icy grip of winter blowing in out of the mountains. Krim, it reminds you. Krim, it reminds you of the week before the drowning.
It was raining before the drowning?
Heavily. But there's dark memories there. Memories that you can't quite access just yet.
Wait, so I've forgotten them? Or they're amnesia?
You feel like there's some things you can't quite remember right now, or don't want to. Part of you doesn't want to, because it was traumatic.
Okay, I'm going to nervously just blow use a little bit of my fire breath and just kind of warm the area up.
Okay.
Kind of nervous.
All right.
Kira's actually going to
Alright.
snuggle closer to Krim because I imagine she's very warm.
All right. You guys keep watch in that manner.
I'll put
Krim,
my arm over her.
Krim is shivering, but surely that is because of the cold.
I put my arm over Akiri.
Can I insight check that?
Sure.
Possibly. Okay. It's a 16.
Krim, what's your bonus to deception?
Six.
What's uppermost in your mind right now?
In my mind, I'm trying to focus on what I can't remember. Like
Okay.
it reminds me of the bad things, and even though I'm trying to, I don't like it, but I'm trying to remember in order to gain the information I need, even if I'm not enjoying myself.
You can sense she's in that kind of a place.
Gotcha. She's gonna look over at you. Oh, she's gonna look over at Krim and be like, "You okay, Krim? You look a little distant."
And I'm gonna look at her, and my eyes are going to be distant. And I'm gonna say, I'll be all right. It's okay.
You sure?
It's in the past. It's okay.
Okay.
Maybe.
But
It's okay.
you can talk to us if you need to. I mean, we're here for
Problem
you.
is, I don't remember certain things. I don't know. It's just the.
Gotcha. I'm sorry about what happened to you, Krim.
Lower it.
As you guys are speaking quietly, the ghosts of the past are indeed heavy in the air tonight. Aquitas, you slumber deeply. And in that slumber, something reaches out. A voice speaks within your dreams. Someone you remember.
Ooh. 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 I'm hunting you. I am hunting you. Well, okay. Technically, I can't call it a hunting. You see, I submitted a request to the Great Librarian in the Sky and the Great Library in the Sky, but submitted a blue form instead of green form. But well, okay. So technically, this is a visitation, not a hunting. But listen, they gave me a whole earful for this. I don't want to get into it. Ooh!
Oh man.
How's it going, bud?
Oh, you gotta be kidding. Is Samson, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. Listen, look. You don't know the trouble I went through. The bureaucracy. I mean, okay, I love it. Let's be honest, but it's very difficult to get this kind of request approved. Okay, I mean, the librarian is not. He's a nice guy. Like, he's probably listening, so I don't want to say anything too bad. But he's a tough guy. Anyways, yeah. What's good, man?
Oh man, what happened to you? What we saw you? What happened to you?
Dude, I got stabbed real bad. I mean, I really died.
I mean, it looked like, if I had to guess, I would say that you were stabbed, but I didn't see you get stabbed.
Well, so I got very, very stabbed, but basically there's like a spell that's keeping me. The reason I'm allowed to be here at all is because I'm not technically quite dead. I am I'm basically dead. I mean, I'm in the Great Library in the Sky studying. So, but there's like some magic that's keeping me here because of a wish I made. It's like a whole thing. And I got sent back in time, and then this 7-foot-tall guy in a temple in a volcano with a magic greatsword stabbed me. He was wearing like crimson armor, stabbed me real bad. Yeah, I don't really know exactly what all that was. I mean, the volcano was very dramatic. Let's be honest. But you don't know anything about that. I mean, I've been learning all kinds of interesting things about Ebb. But I mean, you probably don't even know what that is. I mean, I guess it disappeared 2,000 years ago. You don't want to hear me ramble. Tell me about you.
It's funny you should mention Ebb. Actually, we've been going through your stuff.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, well, we wanted to find out we wanted to see if there was somebody that you knew in Arkney that we could let them know what happened to you. And we saw that that you had been studying your locket and your sort of family history, going back to Ebb and everything. And it sounds like a lot of what you were studying might have a lot to do with some of the things that we've been seeing happening also.
Huh. I'm so sad I couldn't keep my appointment with Apono Yorn, professor of astrology in Arkney. Was he a good fellow?
That's a fucking weird guy, man.
Really? I mean, academics.
Yeah, well,
I don't get along so well with them usually.
No, I mean, he was not the nicest person in the world.
Really?
I think that he was very helpful in the long run, though. I think we got some information. I think Cordy was actually able to speak to him on his level.
Huh. Well, if you want to go back and kill him, I could talk to him up here, probably. I mean, I don't exactly know how the rules work. I haven't quite gotten accustomed to it, but, well, no, hold on. The thing is, you'd have to almost kill him, kind of like I almost died, because I don't know if you technically go here. I don't exactly know the rules, man. So maybe don't kill him. I don't know. It's up to you. If he was a dick, then, you know. I mean, your discretion.
I don't think the rest of the party would go for it, to be honest with you. I mentioned I mentioned murdering somebody earlier, and to be honest with you, it would have been so much easier just to murder her and take what she had.
You guys really struck me as the bloodshed type. I don't know.
Well, I'm trying to get over. I mean, anyway, it's a long story, but no, I'm trying to listen to what people like Bella and Akiri and everybody else in the party. They have a better head about kind of issues than I do. So I'm kind of trying to go by there.
Well, listen, man, I don't need all the details of your life because, you know, I submitted the purple form, so I don't have, like, all the time in the world. If I'd submitted an orange form, I maybe could have done a little better, but, you know, the librarian is really, he's a hard ass, let's be honest.
Well, is there anything that you could tell us that could help us? Is there anything?
Well, okay, so I guess you're interested in Ebb. So I learned a few things. I mean, the text, you know, the text up here, it's all the dead books, the things that have been burned, right? So there's missing information, but I can kind of, you know, pair it with the things that I read in the real world. So I know that Ebb did something real bad. I mean, whoo boy, it was not good. They did something called the Great Unmaking, and they did it to try to stop the cleansing rains.
We've heard of this cleansing rain.
Really,
Yeah.
but it's very interesting. I mean, I find it all a little tired. I wish that the writers of these texts maybe gave us a little bit more information. So let me know if I'm boring you. But so they tried to do this thing called the Great Unmaking, stop cleansing rains, but it went very wrong. I don't exactly know how it went wrong yet. I'm still reading. It's not like time moves differently up there, so you know, I've only had so much time. So yeah, I don't know if any of that interests you at all, but
No,
you know, that's what's been going on with me ever since my death. Oh, there was the whole thing with the card. Do you want to hear about the deck?
Yeah, we saw you messing with the deck. What's up with the deck?
Well, so Kryn gave me the deck because I don't know. I guess she was too afraid to die or something. It's cool. So I figured, you know, save the day, be the hero. I may be a nerd, but you know, I could do something.
You know, if you had actually saved the day, it would have been cool.
You know, I really could have, but you'd think as an academic, my writing skills would be better. I may have messed up the wording of some things a little bit. So basically what happened is I drew this card from the deck. It was called the Moon. It gave me 3 wishes, you know, yada yada, uncontrollable power, infinite power, power of the gods. You know, like the whole thing. Little overrated in my opinion, let's be honest. So my first wish, and again, wording, man. My first wish was to control the outcome of all cards pulled from the deck.
Hey, that's actually pretty smart.
Yeah, so I was like, you know, know what the card does, and you know, and then get to decide if it happens or not. So I said some stupid stuff about time, and that's what sent me back. It took me back to every drawing of the card ever drawn. And so that's why I went back to the guy in crimson armor. Like I said, 7 feet tall, temple in a volcano, magic greatsword, and he pulled the balance card, which changed his his moral fortitude, I guess.
Oh.
And so he went from a good guy to a bad guy, or a bad guy to a good guy. I don't know. Seems kind of irrelevant. And so he killed me real good. I mean, yeah, he really got me good. And then I had the option to change my card, but I figured Akiri would like heal me back to life. Tell her no thanks, I guess. I don't know why you guys do more for me, honestly.
Well, I think that we did everything that we could. It was a matter of time.
Okay, sure.
I mean, we're good at this stuff.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Perfect, you know?
Yeah, you guys didn't like me around. You didn't want me around. I get it, man.
Man, you should have seen the funeral. It was beautiful.
Listen, I've watched Akiri bring you back to life, so you don't have to make excuses for her. It's okay.
You'd have to ask her about that.
Well, I don't want to fill out another green form, okay? I've already heard enough from the friggin' librarian, and I think that upon dying I made a special wish to haunt you specifically, so I'm not sure if I could haunt anybody else. Still not clear on the rules. Like I said, lots of forms and bureaucracy up here.
Well, that's something to look forward to for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's a couple more things about Ebb I learned. So basically, the Great Unmaking was possibly, according to some scholars, yada yada. Like, I mean, tell me, again, remind me if I'm boring you here, but according to some scholars who write very poorly, the Great Unmaking was invented by Prince Varenkana and the Edenian Acolytes, or the Doomed. And the cleansing rains are called a Judgment of the Gods. Sometimes these academics come up with cool names for things, but a Judgment of the Gods feels pretty worn out to me.
Yeah, that's kind of on the nose, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
So wait, Varenkana and the Edian Acolytes, they called themselves the Doomed? You said?
Well, I'm not exactly clear. What I have, those are different factions. Factions. It was invented by Prince Varenkana and the Edenian Acolytes, or the Doomed. I'm not sure.
Right. Okay. Or the Doomed. Okay, fair enough. And that's what they invented the Great Unmaking to help stop.
God, are you taking notes on this? You're such a nerd, dude.
Yeah,
I bet you love it up here.
You are okay. Didn't you? You died on a quest to go to a library.
Yeah, but you didn't bring me back to life. I guess that's fair. I mean, okay, for having a nerd off. Sure, I'll take the win on that one, but don't sell yourself short, man. You'll get there.
I might die on a quest to go to a library too. Okay, you know what? This has been great.
Yeah. I feel like you were a little mean to me, but it's cool.
Why does everybody say I'm mean?
I don't know, man. You're a little. Okay, look. You're a little socially awkward. You're not great with people. I mean, look. I'm dead now, so I'll say it. I'll be the first to say it. You speak a little. You're a little upfront with your words, but I'll forgive you, man.
Well, I don't know. Okay, so you think I should keep some of this stuff? I mean, I'm pretty good at lying, so I guess I could just do that.
Wait, what?
I'm pretty good at lying, so I guess I could just do that.
Yeah, I heard you. What do you mean by that? What are you lying about?
Oh, I'm not lying about anything. Yet, really. Not really.
I don't know if the librarian likes liars.
Who? The librarian?
Yeah, he's, very bookish.
Who is the librarian?
He's the guy up here. He's, he runs the Great Library in the Sky. Duh.
Oh. That's... How did you meet him? Did you just meet him after you died? Is that
He's
just...
literally at the front desk, dude.
Oh, he's at the front desk when you die.
No, at the library. In the sky.
Oh. Okay. And... Why would I care what he thinks?
I don't know, dude. He's a cool guy. He's also listening to this conversation, I think. So, Great, very nice person.
Oh, well, I'm sure he's great. So, I will keep in mind everything that you said about my attitude and how I come off to people.
That's good. I appreciate that. It's really nice to see improvement in people over time.
I was, where I was raised, there was a premium put on being upfront about things and being forthright.
Mm-hmm. Well, then why are you such a liar? Apparently.
I haven't lied to you. I haven't lied to anybody that you know of.
Kinda seems like you brought up the fact that you were a liar out of nowhere to a literal ghost of me in a dream. So, must be on your mind a lot.
Look, I don't even know that this is real. This is probably me just having a conversation with myself.
Hey, man. Whoa there. You bet your ass I'm real. I told you, I'm not dead. I'm mostly dead.
Well, no, I have lied, yes, but I'm trying not to anymore.
If only I could find some guy named Magic Max or something like that. I think he could give me a pill and bring me back.
All right. Well,
that works on so many levels.
All right, I'm being called away.
Exactly.
The librarian is calling me away. Good luck with Ebb. Careful with that deck.
Put in a good word.
People.
Put in a good word with this librarian.
I'm not gonna make any promises. You were a little rude, but I'll tell him you're improving.
I apologize. The next time we talk, I promise I'll have something special for you.
All
I'll
right.
have something special
if I
for
can
you.
get my hands on the right form, I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, been nice talking to you, man.
It was great talking to you.
All right. Good, sweet dreams. Hope you don't get haunted by anyone else. Bye.
Me too. God, that could have gone so much worse.
And the ghost fades from your dream. Thank you so much, Leo. Well done. Guest appearance, part 2, from my brother Leo, an amazing player, reprising his role as Samson, the incredibly rude elf researcher.
Thanks for having me, folks.
Oh man, thank you, dude. Thank you so much. I'm so
sure.
glad you
back
popped
at
in.
least 5 more times.
Me too. Catch you later. Bye-bye.
Take care, man.
You too.
All right. So that's going on. Krim and Akiri, would you guys roll perception rolls, please? You don't notice much about the storm as you guys huddle together for warmth and or comfort. There's not much danger out there that you could see, nor is there anything out and about that you're noticing. However, Akiri, you do notice, you kind of look over your shoulder at one point in the light of Krim's fire breath spout, and you notice Equitus is kind of rolling back and forth, tossing and turning against the bear.
Huh, I wonder what's up with Equitus. I hope his dreams are good. They're good.
By some definition thereof. And who do you guys wake up next for the next watch?
Cordy and Mavra? Sure, Cordy and Mavra.
Good deal.
All right. Cordy and Mavra, you guys are awake as the storm is pounding down. Go ahead and make perception rolls.
What do my elven eyes see?
A lot of storm. You know that this storm is going to continue through tomorrow. And probably only clear up in the afternoon. Mavra, you're drowsy again. Your eyes half closing, but fortunately Cordy is on the case. Very alert.
I just want to be like a lawyer. It's gonna be Cordy's second goal in life is to become a lawyer after she transcends into a mushroom.
Mushroom lawyer.
I may just be a simple country mushroom, but
All right. Well, I don't. Unless somebody wants to do something else during the night, there's nothing else. We can fast forward through the rest of the watches. Stop me if you do want to do something during a watch, but otherwise, you guys wake up the next day and the storm is still raging. It's slushy and miserable. Parts of the tents are leaking and or frozen stiff as a board.
That was a miserable night, guys. But is everybody awake?
You have cleared your exhaustion if you have a bedroll and winter clothing.
Oh. Does my cloak count?
Good question. Yes.
what about an explorer's outfit?
No.
Thank you.
Dang it!
Since everybody's awake, I would like to tell y'all about this dream I had last night. And I tell them about Samson. And guys, I think it really was him.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes you think so?
I don't know. I've had dreams before, and then I've had things that are, you know, like dreams, only more. If you know what I mean? And this was sort of like that.
Yeah.
This was
Oh,
not
really?
just a dream.
Huh. That's wow. Huh.
So he's
How's he
alive?
doing?
Well, he said that he's not quite dead, if I understand correctly, but I don't know, though. Everything seemed to read dead to me. and that it was basically a haunting, that I was being haunted by him. But he kept on saying that he's not quite dead, that he's not all the way dead. There may be something we can do with that. There may be something that we could. There may be a thread there that we could pull out. But he did say that he did confirm some of this information we've been hearing about Ebb, and they must have gotten involved in something really bad, trying to end the Great Cleansing. They created this thing, the Great Unmaking, and apparently that is what caused Ebb to no longer be heard from again.
Do you think they named it Great? Because that seems kind of rude.
Yeah.
Like, I think other people need to call it Great.
Were you able to clear your exhaustion?
I was, yes. I have bedroll, and you said the cloak would work as winter clothes.
Cool. Well, Bref, as you're talking, your teeth are chattering. A chill got into you. You got a little bit of a cold.
I'm gonna give him the winter cloak that I have.
Thank you.
So, oh, go ahead, Grim.
Equitas, did Samson seem okay?
He actually seemed like he was thriving, to be honest with you. He seemed pretty happy. He seemed pretty good. I would say he, I would say he seemed happy. Yeah.
So he isn't resentful or anything?
He seemed to be the opposite of resentful. The story he told me, he did not blame you one bit, Krim. He didn't say anything at all about you. He did tell me about, that he chose from the deck, and that is what ended up getting him stabbed a lot. But he said that it didn't have anything to do with you.
Krim's just gonna nod. So, what else, can you give me more information on, Ebb?
Well, he
Anything
said
about the locket?
he didn't really say a lot more about the locket, but he did mention Varen Kana. Apparently he was the leader of the Edian Acolytes, or the Doomed. I'm not really positive if that's one thing or if it might be two different things, to be honest with you. And I don't think he was all that sure either. But Varen Kana, the leader of this group, the Edian Acolytes, he's the person who made the Great Unmaking. And really, that's pretty much all he said.
So why did he do this Great Unmaking?
To try to get rid of the cleansing rains. I don't know how it would get rid of the cleansing. It does sound like it probably has something to do with your Netheros, though.
And I've gone as pale as I can.
Kiri's gonna pipe up and go, huh, Sethek was actually talking about something. I'm talking something about that. Apparently there's this prophecy about Aarakocra that looked like me that one of us will stop the Great Unmaking.
Son of a bitch.
And yeah. And then what else was there? He said something about he said something else about something. I don't remember. But and then oh yeah, that's right. We were talking about why my brother might have been taken. And apparently wow, Emmy is forgetting the words again. The Scarred Earth Clan, apparently they don't want that to happen. I don't know. It was weird.
The scarred Earth Clan does not want the great unmaking. Wait, say that again.
I don't think they want the great unmaking to not happen. I
They
think.
want the great unmaking to happen. Boy, there's a lot of
Yeah, it is.
negatives. Okay, but yes. Okay. What is the... And the great unmaking is there to end the cleansing rains. I thought the scarred earth but it sounds like the cleansing rains is a bad thing. And if the great unmaking is there to stop it, aren't the scarred earth clans bad also? Aren't they,
one
bad
time
people?
when I was on my
don't
ship and
know.
I was practicing with my weapon, and I maybe accidentally made a little hole in the side of the ship, and it was pretty bad. And I tried to patch it up myself, and I kind of made the hole even bigger. Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting in the corner, super pale.
Well, things are starting to...
Things are starting to get really crazy.
I don't know. I think the
Really
scariest part
crazy.
is they're getting less crazy. They're starting to see where they're making sense.
You're right, that is worse. Also, Cezek also mentioned something about he didn't know of any famous, like, Shadirs or Ekarks in the past. So I'm a little terrified they actually have no brother. But we're moving through that. So we're gonna do that.
Were you thinking... Okay. Well, I think we need to find out what's going on, and I think step one is to find your brother. And then...
I agree.
And then I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot going on. We need to take care of Mavers. Well, there's so much. There's so much. All right. So let's.
Oh yeah, Krim, you okay?
I noticed that. You know, she gave Bref her cloak, so I'm gonna give her my cloak at least to keep the rain off of her.
Ooh, I have a winter cloak, and she puts it over. Yeah, she puts it over Krim's shoulders. You can keep yours. She has a skirt.
Okay.
So you guys literally load up the fire dragonborn in coats. Sorry.
Yep.
Just. I'm just.
At least it'll keep
I've
the
got my
rain
knees
off
up.
of you.
I've got my knees up to my chest, and I'm just curled up and up, staring straight forward, not talking to anyone.
Honestly, Krim, you look like you need some help. You okay?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on, and I'm scared.
You think we all are.
Definitely.
There's so much.
It's definitely easy to see where there are things going on.
I've been on my own for 2 years, and now everything's just coming back together, and there's so many people, and I'm going to places I'd never thought I'd go before, and it's just too much. And I don't know anything about this world, about these people. I'm so angry and frustrated and just scared.
I understand. You know, I've really only been out in this world for 4 years. So I understand where you're coming from. It's scary. It's safer.
Yeah, I guess you would more than most. I mean, I didn't grow up in a cult, but we weren't necessarily allowed to leave.
No, I mean, here's the thing about the place that I grew up. I mean, it was bad, but we were all safe. I mean, that's the thing about a community. Everybody looks out for everybody else. That's the thing about family.
Yeah. I feel like I should know more than I do, and I feel like I wasn't told certain things, and now I should have more knowledge of the world than I did. I'm frustrated. I'm sorry.
It's alright to be frustrated. Things are frustrating.
I think it's okay to not always have all the answers. I think that life is a continual journey of seeking knowledge, and the farther along we get in life, the more we realize we do not know.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
There's a lot I don't know, but I still try to do what's right when I can.
Yeah, I feel like out of anywhere in this world, really, you're amongst the most people who know how you feel, Grim. It's like, this is talking about world-ending stuff here. We don't know, none of us know what's going on. My brother could be locked up in a cult volcano mountain place. And I don't know. It's just crazy. We're talking, like I said, we're talking about end of the world stuff. We don't.
We'll figure it out, Krim. It seems like if anybody can figure it out, it might actually be us.
Yeah, it seems like we have a lot of disparate pieces of knowledge. But yeah, I'm realizing my family didn't tell me everything, but I think what I want to do is just make sure that no one else gets hurt the way I did. So I'm
Right.
scared, but I'm determined to figure out what's going on. I don't
Well.
want anyone else hurt.
Well, let's do that. Whatever we have to do that. Because I think that's a good thing to want to do.
Prim, it's important to have compassion for other people, but it's also important to have compassion for yourself.
I nod and just stare straight forward. Out of the stream. In a little bit into the duplex.
Well, I think we've still got a long ways to go. So let's get on the road.
All right. And with that, our session comes to an end. Thank you all very much for playing. Thank you, Jeremy, Emmy, Paul, Alexis, Haley, Danielle, and Kirsten. You guys are, each and every one of you, wonderful players. Thank you to Leo for the guest appearance. That was really amazing, dude. Double thumbs up. Wow, you guys.
You can haunt me anytime, Samson.
Wow, you guys. That was, whew. That was some heavy stuff. That was some heavy stuff at the end there. guess that's Dungeons and Dragons.
You go from ridiculous haunting to everyone.
Yeah.
And then cow farts again.
Who knows what may lie around the next bend in the path. But we will have to find out next time. So thank you to the Man with No Screen Name, Lion Nation, everybody who came by and watched, everybody who watches this later. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you so much. Have a good week, and I'll be streaming campaign prep through the week, and then Cyberpunk game on Saturday night, and then the Wildlands campaign 1 week from tonight again. So, until then, see you folks later. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.